I'm proposing a new sustainable development goal, space environment. And why is that important? These days we go into space and it's called Space 4.0. That's marked by public-private partnerships. So like SpaceX working for NASA and things like that. The space industry on Earth is already 371 billion. And of course, the space exploration budget, the institutional one, is the smallest one, but it's important. And anyways, I'm not featuring or asking for a goal space economy, but space environment. There are space agencies and companies soon to offer space tourism, which makes us to appreciate the blue marble which our planet is, very unique in space, a planet which we need to preserve. But the question is, if we start with tourism, where's the limit? And this is also the question for satellites already. We have more than 10,000 in orbit. And there's a danger of a chain reaction. If something breaks, and could break by micrometeorites or by space debris already out there, it could be a problem for the use of the lower Earth orbit, especially. And also mega constellations which are launched now, they add like thousands of satellites in the near future, are already adding it. And they also disrupt astronomical observation from Earth because they are too bright. The European Space Agency is considering a moon village to build a telescope on the other side of the moon, which is a very good thing. And there's plans for a lunar gateway, like the International Space Station, but this time orbiting the moon. So we have very concrete plans for space exploration. And the most famous one is the Artemis plan to send the first women to the moon. It comes with the ECHORDS, so the women should be there in 2024, hopefully. And the ECHORDS are a framework how to organize space. It's already signed by 9 countries. Actually, Ukraine is the 9th one. And when we go to the moon, something that's on the planning as well, that's a space mining. Here you see an asteroid space mining sketch, but it's more probable that it will be mining on the moon, and it will be water which will be mined, because water is a very precious resource in space. It's very expensive to bring it up there. So if we use water which is already out there, it could be worth the effort. So this is all on the agenda, but how can we do it in a sustainable manner? Here you see an artist's impression of what the problem might be. I mentioned it, space debris is already 4 years ago, we had more space debris incidents than natural causes causing damage. So what is the future of space tourism? Where's the limit? How to address space debris? And if we go harvesting the moon, do we make money out of our common heritage? Because every celestial body is common heritage of all mankind. And can space mining be sustainable? Let's look at this. Sustainability has 4 dimensions traditionally: economic, environmental, social, and cultural ones. If we apply this on space mining and have a look at economics, there are plenty of asteroids, but they don't regrow. The idea of sustainability was developed as the example of forests, to harvest them just as much that they can recover. Well, obviously that's not the case for asteroids. How about environmental issues? The debris I mentioned already, and dust on the moon. The dust is really a problem. It was already a problem for the Apollo missions. And then if you go farther out in this solar system, we have the problem of potentially contaminating Earth, because we don't know what we bring back there. There could be spots in the solar system where there would be life, which we don't know of yet. It's just very exciting to discover, but also a potential threat. And socially, it's a question, if you do space mining, who would profit from the revenue? Is it only the rich countries again? And culturally, does science have a say? What about heritage science on the moon, for instance? The Apollo landing site is protected by the Artemis ECHORDS already, which is a good move. But this is a question. If we explore our solar system, which spaces to preserve? There is space law, which is the Outer Space Treaty from the 60s. It's still in place and very important for anything that is happening in space. It says that the exploration and use of outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, shall be carried out for the benefit and the interest of all countries, irrespective of their degree of economic or scientific development, and shall be the province of all mankind. And it goes on that the outer space shall be free for exploration and use by all states. And that's actually the question, what is meant by use? If we harvest resources, is this recovery a use, or is this already an appropriation which would be forbidden actually by the Outer Space Treaty? In Article 9, so some asked for a revision of the question of property in this treaty. Article 9 is also it's about the prevention of harmful contamination and adverse changes in the environment of Earth, as I mentioned. I don't have to explain what could happen if we import a bad virus in these days. This is Earth at night. It's beautiful. All these lights, it looks so pretty, are though human activity, of course. So they produce energy, use energy and produce heat. And the result is climate change in the long run. So we need to act in a way that is sustainable, which sustainable development is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. I guess you all know this definition. One thing in the long run is very important, of course, this is peace, because without cooperation and peace, humanity will perish and we can forget about sustainability. So goals 16 and 17 in the UN SDGs are very crucial, obviously. But there are other threats as well, which can happen, like this one. And this is actually probable that it will happen again. The question is when. So there are the first missions to analyze and find out how we could potentially deflect an asteroid incoming too close and too big. So without our expansion of our instruments and people into space, humanity could conceivably perish. And by the way, it's a long time, millions of years, but at one point in time, the life of Earth will end because of sun growth. So later generations should be able to meet their own needs without perishing due to the events in our solar system. This would be truly planetary sustainability. We would need to uphold all dimensions of sustainability to last in the long run, but we also need a technological imperative to move into space at one point to be able to. We need planetary protection, which means protection from contamination and defense. This is working against asteroids. And we need, of course, most crucial of everything is the imperative of responsibility of our behavior in a way that we can last. So we need to act so that the effects of our actions are compatible with the permanence of genuine human life. What does it mean? We all know the SDGs, they're all crucial and important and interconnected. We have SDG 14, life below water, 15, life on land, 13, climate action for the atmosphere. But we don't have an SDG for space, for the space environment, which is about to be explored. And already, as I said, space debris is already a problem. And we need to be early this time to prevent further things from happening. I want to organize a workshop on these topics to connect space sustainability, which is already an issue, with global sustainability. Want to have to talk about planetary boundaries and limits to growth, the circular economy, space and innovation, space resources, the next target moon, space debris, and also what it means to bring humans into space. And for that, I want to fundraise a short-term position, sort of an academic startup at the University of Bern, to organize a workshop, to write a report, paper, and provide talks. And I'm looking for sponsors for this workshop. As an institution or company, you can sponsor and assign to a lecture or just for the workshop in general. And this way, I want to promote the SDG 18 idea. And you can also invite me for further talks, of course. Because without our expansion of our instruments and people into space, remember that humanity could or will conceivably perish. I thank you for your kind attention. And if you want to look into it, have a look at this quite memorable link. I also put a direct link to the fundraising in this chat in case you are interested in supporting it. Thank you.